As for the religious condition of the Arabs, Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he left his son Ismail and his wife Hajar, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding Tawheed. Oh Allah, make them steadfast upon Tawheed. And Ismail alayhi salam and his sons and the coming generations up to a long period of time remained steadfast upon Tawheed, upon monotheism of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no form of shirk and associating partners with Allah ever entered into them. But with the passage of time, this belief, this certainty of Allah being one and alone became weak and was about to collapse when a chief of the tribe of Khuza'a, Amr bin Luhay, he gave the final blow, causing the structure of Tawheed to go down. Amr bin Luhay, who was one of the chiefs of Khuza'a and was considered a person of high ranking in the Arabs, he went to Syria and saw the people worshipping idols over there. And he brought back an idol to Makkah and placed it in the center of the Kaaba. And the idol was named Hubal. And he asked the Arabs and the Meccans to worship that idol. And from that day onwards, idol worship began to spread from tribe to tribe and place to place and family to family, to the extent that each tribe, each family, in fact each person had its own idol. They went out on a journey and took a stone to worship it. When they found another stone much better than that, they threw the old stone, took a new stone, considered it as an idol and began to worship it. Worshipping idols of stone, clay and wood. To this extent, polytheism had entered into the society of the Arabs, contradicting to the teachings upon which Ibrahim alayhi salam had left them upon. And in the hadith of Sahih Bukhari, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that he saw Amr bin Luhay, the person who was the first person to bring shirk into the Arabian Peninsula. He saw him into the hellfire, burning into Jahannam. All forms of idol worship, all rites and rituals which a person could imagine, from devoting yourself to the idols, circumambulating it, doing the tawaf, sacrificing animals for the idols, presenting things to the idols, making vows for the idols, and all a person could think about was present in the society. Besides this, superstitious beliefs had become common. Besides idol worship, there were other forms of belief that were contradicting Tawheed which has entered into the ranks, such as divination by arrows. Whenever they wanted to take a serious decision in grave matters such as marriage, journey, doing business, they casted arrows. If the arrow showing yes came up, they went forward with that task. If the arrow showing no came up, they stopped, thinking that if I go forward with this task, I may incur some loss, some harm may befall me. Besides this, superstitious beliefs had taken deep root into their hearts, and they considered certain months, certain animals, certain birds, certain sounds, and certain things to be a sign of bad luck. Yes, certain beliefs and practices from the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam remained in them, such as the Hajj, but that too wasn't free of corruption. The Hajj that was the Sunnah of Ibrahim alayhi salam had fallen prey to many additions and alterations at the hand of these polytheistic Arabs. They had changed the talbiyah. The Meccans, who called themselves as Hums, when all the pilgrims went to Arafat, they stopped as Muzdalifah, saying that we are privileged people, we are Hums, we will not go to Arafat. The people who came from outside of Makkah were ordered to make the tawaf of the Kaaba in a state of nudity and nakedness. As for the Meccans, they considered themselves privileged to perform the tawaf of the Kaaba wearing clothes. So this was the condition of Hajj at that point of time. They did believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as being the creator, the provider, the sustainer, and the one who runs this universe. But the mistake and the misguidance in which they fell into and Shaitan had put into them was the shirk which they did in Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They believed Him to be the creator, but when it came to worship, they associated thousands of idols with Him. The Kaaba which Ibrahim alayhi salam had placed on the foundations of Tawheed was enfrilled with more than 300 idols. The famous idols were Lat, Manat, Uzza, which were considered as the big idols. They had houses made for them, they had curtains, decorations, and people who were devoted full time to the service of these idols. This was the religious condition, the shirk, the polytheism, the paganism in which the Arabian society was drowning.